Julio Foolio suspect Ksoo just went online dissing Foolio, and this is supposed to be Youngeen Ace right hand man. Like, this is the same dude that took out Bibby and everything allegedly. So now what is all this is doing is pretty much putting more heat on Youngeen Ace, because they already know the feds are looking at him and everything. So why is it that one of his hitters is going on dissing Foolio and claiming like that they did it and everything like that? This is all gonna go back to go against them basically. And at the end of the day, everybody's saying that Ksoo basically like self-snitching right now, and he telling on Youngeen Ace by saying that him and his crew is the one responsible for it, man. And so this is why everybody's pointing fingers and saying that they gonna give a lot of time to the people who's the ops of Foolio, because they already been keeping tabs on him and everything. And they know who they are, because of they're the ones who in the music videos who's dissing Foolio, saying they were gonna smoke him and saying they were gonna do this and that. It happened exactly the way that they said they was gonna do it in the song. So this is why they're trying to like actually put everything together right now. They're talking to the feds. They're about to do the RICO and the raid, due to the fact that this whole thing came back to the beef between Julio and Youngeen Ace, and the fact that it's been 5, 6, 7 other people who've been hit up for the same thing between the two groups. They know that it's gonna be like, they know for a fact that Ksoo, he's already fighting a double charge, a double homie and everything like that. So for him to go online and basically say like, oh, Foolio last breath, he had to have known it was us, that we was gonna get him and everything. So when he said that, it's gonna put everybody on the radar that's attached to Ksoo and that's been hanging out with him. And Ksoo's in all the Youngeen Ace's music videos. They're gonna pull that up and use it against him and saying that this is the persons that you associate with. So they're gonna try to build a paper trail on him and see what's the connection and all that stuff. And they know that these guys have been trying to hit each other up for a long time. So it's like they're not surprised that they did this to each other. Now what they're going to try to do is catch them with the surveillance footage. They know that they have one guy in custody who's already cooperating with the authorities. He cooperating right now. Like they're going to bring in the rest of the suspects in front of the photo lineup, and he's gonna have to point his finger and choose one of them people. And this is the same people he was just talking about. Oh, we'll never tell on each other, this and that. Let's go get this, the money they put on Foolio head and everything. But then now they caught one of the guys, and he's about ready to go ahead and give the description, point his fingers at the lineup and everything, saying that it was this guy that was with me, that guy that was with me. All the loyalty gets thrown out the window. So they pretty much, once they do the drill, the hit and everything like that, it's all over after that, because they on their own. No one gonna pay. Youngeen Ace ain't gonna pay for their bail, nothing like that. So they already know that basically they're pretty much crashed as dummies. These guys that did this to Foolio, they pretty much got used as pawn pieces and everything like that, because Youngeen Ace, he wanted to send a message and everything. They had to call Youngeen Ace to get the approval if they was gonna go after Foolio or not, because he was the one that basically was the main guy who had the problem with Foolio, and it was their beef together. So Youngeen Ace, he didn't want to have to put himself on the footage doing anything, because he still got to go and do his shows and make his money and do everything like that. So he wasn't going to be the guy that actually tried to walk down Foolio. So everybody already knew that. So pretty much people were waiting until the moment that Youngeen Ace's guys caught Foolio and them lacking somewhere out in the streets or something, and that's how it was going to go down. And so that's pretty much what happened. So the fact that they started getting the location and giving it away, they was too relaxed and lackadaisical about their whereabouts for that birthday weekend and everything. It was already bad enough that the guys followed them from Jacksonville all the way down to Tampa. But then once they got the leak on where the hotel was and who was all there, and if Foolio car was gonna be there and stuff, once they knew that, it was an open invitation pretty much for anything to happen that night. And so it's a sad situation, and it could have definitely been avoided. But a lot of people got to look at it like, you got to surround yourself around people who don't have the same issues or something like that. Like they all, like the three other people that got hit up, they could have made it out, man. They were around Foolio, so they got to know that that's what comes with it, man. So if you hanging around Foolio, you got to understand that it's gonna be ops that are gonna pop up randomly, and that you're gonna have to fight back, or you're gonna have to run, or you're gonna have to do something, duck and cover. And so it was just a matter of time on everything catching up, because these guys, all they got to do all day is to ride around looking for ops and everything. That's what they do. So, and you got to remember, some of the ops, they strike early in the morning, like 7 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. They were basically waiting until Foolio and them all got tired and lit and everything from the party, so that they were not on point. You have to stay on point for this. And so this is the mistake that Foolio and them made. They pretty much didn't think that the ops were going to pull up on them like that. They got to stay with their head on a swivel. They got to stay on point. They got to at least keep somebody outside that's like looking at the perimeter, looking at the area, seeing if anybody pulls up and is watching them too closely, because that could have at least alerted Foolio and them to get up out that jam a lot quicker. Maybe they could have took the other stairwell. Maybe they could have took the back escape ladder exit and everything. And so this was the main thing, is that they were basically sitting ducks. They were waiting in that room. Once they got out, the guys were already pretty much surrounding them, like they ain't had nowhere to go. So it's a sad thing, but the beef that continued, it pretty much pushed it to this. Like Foolio, he did his part in the diss too. Like these guys both got people on each side taken out, and allegedly. And so what was going on with Foolio's situation is that, basically Foolio got outnumbered. Foolio got way outnumbered. By the time that the beef had went on and everything started unraveling and all that, Foolio ain't have too many people around him or nothing, and he couldn't trust everybody, because look at how it all happened. Somebody from the inside pretty much gave the ops the drop on everything. And so Foolio, he should have pretty much just been straight up strictly only with security and family or something like that. And even at that, they're still gonna come after you, especially even if you got security or if you were family or anything like that. There's no rules to nothing. And so at the end of the day, people have to realize that this could have happened at any moment. And so the fact that Foolio, he pretty much put it out there and invited them to come by him dropping his location, that was probably the wrong move to do. If he would have kept it more low-key, didn't have nobody posted on IG, and if he didn't have nobody trying to invite extra people over, they might have been able to have that and be able to make it back to their homes at the end of the day. But the fact that they went online on social media and they started flexing about the party and taunting and saying that, oh, we here, over here, pull up, and they're actually showing like the surrounding area, what it looked like, people could figure out that that was that Holiday Inn just from that Instagram story that was put out. Once they seen it on there and they seen that it was Foolio with the other people, they already knew where that area was. So they already heard Foolio was going to be in Tampa for the birthday. So they slid down to Tampa. Then they waited for them to post on the IG, and they was able to see the background, how it looked, and they figured out that was the Holiday Inn. So once they figured that out, they got more of the ops together. They got more people together, and like 5 of them went down to the Holiday Inn and pretty much surrounded the whole joint up until Foolio and them came out. When Foolio and them came out, it was a whole battle, wild, wild west, sparks flying and everything like that, people running, mamas crying. It was a bad situation. It was a serious thing. And so we don't like condone that or wish that upon nobody, man. People got to realize you got to keep the peace and everything like that. So then now, once that happened, everybody pretty much is every man for themselves. Like, you got to pretty much try to make it out at that situation. So once all that happened and the dudes started running off, once the shot stopped, the dudes ran off. All you hear is tires squealing, everything like that. Then the sirens came, and then you hear it was Foolio car running, like he had just basically started it and everything like that. So with all that, they made a lot of mistakes by pretty much putting themselves up there, being sitting ducks, dropping the location, and not paying attention to the fact that the ops could have slid on them at any moment. You got to be very strategic on how you move, especially in 2024, because rappers got one of the most dangerous jobs. They diss people, people can find them and everything like that, and they make bad decisions. So you got to understand that you have to move in a certain way to be able to make it out in these days, and that's pretty much what it is, man. So let me know what y'all think about the whole thing.